Let your curiosity rise.
Mad Bricks webcast,
Where the human spirit flies. Mad Bricks webcast. Where the human spirit flies.
Hey, welcome to the Medbix webcast. This is Raman Annamaraju. He's that is from Silicon Valley. Welcome all of you. And I have a great program on today. This is a live program on Thursday. I do live on Thursdays also. So let me before any further ado, let me introduce you. But I have an extraordinary presentation also today. All women in the world should watch this presentation for inspiration. Let me introduce you my co-host, Dr. Susan Davis. She is, I think, I hope she can. This year they don't have hurricanes. Otherwise, you could have found a pickup truck somewhere in the middle of nowhere, maybe in Silicon Valley. Welcome, Susan, Dr. Susan Davis.
Hi, Ramon. No hurricanes yet. We're actually brewing a tropical storm right now in the Gulf, which is kind of neat. So no action just yet.
You don't fly away. That's okay. A pickup truck is going somewhere. We can always call it back.
Yeah.
If they see that pickup truck, they call you. Yeah, that's there. So yeah.
That sounds like the Wizard of Oz.
Wizard of Oz, yeah. What's going on with you in your life? Tell us a little bit about what is up to you nowadays. How many saving lives?
Busy, saving lives, taking names. Standard procedure. We've been busy. We've been working with a lot of organizations, running a lot of drills. It's very exciting to watch people be prepared, get prepared, training with their teams in their location with their teams and their equipment, and then watching them stand taller because they know what to do if the duty hits the fan. So it's very exciting. We've been super busy. Thank you for asking.
Okay, now let me introduce you. We have a good program today. I'm going to present a topic. It's also a very interesting topic I'm going to present. It's a very inspirational. Last time, this is the guest who is coming. I know her. I met her in person, and a wonderful lady from Boston. She has a Boston accent, certainly. So she is a friend of, she took a school. She went to school here, Founder School. And Dr. Chettipalli, who is a great friend of mine, Dr. Uli Chettipalli is an innovator MD. He is a very well known in the Silicon Valley. She was there, so I met her there, and then we met a lot of people from Canada, everywhere. But anyway, that's a JP Morgan weekend. I think that was a lot of people came there. Yeah, but anyway, let me introduce you. My good is a friend. She always keep in touch with me. I mean, through online at least. Yeah, we are honored to welcome Alan Murphy, founder and CEO of Sona, a company transforming how families and clinicians experience ultrasound care. With more than a decade in the ultrasound industry, Alan recognized a problem that many accepted as a normal. Patients often have one of the most meaningful moments in the healthcare, their ultrasound exam, without easy access to their images and videos, particularly pregnant ultrasound and a pregnant woman. Rather than accepting this status quo, she created a Sona, a HIPAA-compliant platform that connects directly with ultrasound systems and instantly deliver images and clips to the patient's phones without adding extra work for sonographers. Susan, this was my dream when I started a mobile ultrasound in Georgia. That was 30 years ago, another century, that there was nothing technology exists. I want to do that. How do you share that? I was thinking about that. She did that. So hats off
Yeah,
to her.
you snoozed and losed, but not Ellen. Ellen went for it. I love it. Can't wait to
Yeah,
hear more.
a woman. As a both healthcare innovator and a mother of two, Ellen brings a unique perspective that combines technology, patient experience, and family-centered care. Her work is helping modernize ultrasonic communication and strengthen the connection between the clinicians and the families they serve. Please join me. Welcome, my good friend, Alan Murphy. Welcome, Alan.
Hi, Ron. Hi, Susan. Thank you so
do,
much
you
for having
remember, do you remember me still, Alan?
me. Of course. It's great to be back. It's great to see you again. I'm so happy to be here.
Yeah, during San Francisco, in the middle of San Francisco, we met. It is you graduated at the time. You're celebrating. A lot of things happened after that, right?
Yep. We've come a long way. I think since I last spoke to you, we may have been pre-launched to the public, or maybe we had just launched. So exciting things. We've grown quite a bit, and yeah, I'm happy to be back.
Tell me your journey up to now. What inspired you to share this? I told you that I was providing a mobile ultrasound. I was thinking about that 30 years ago. There's no technology available at the time. But how did you? What was your motivation for this?
Sure. So I worked in business development, sales and marketing for a large ultrasound service company, and built this technology not with the intent really to go to market with it, really as a value add for the ultrasound company that I worked for. Um, when I got pregnant in 2021, I got the printout from the machine, and I got the pictures on my phone. So I got some heartbeat clips, the baby kicking, and I got just great quality images straight to my phone. And I realized what a game changer it was for parents during pregnancy to have that access. And you only are pregnant with that baby once. And I realized there's something bigger here beyond just serving the company I work for. So it took a lot of work. That was 2021 when I was pregnant. We kind of rebuilt the technology, modernized it, rebranded, and we launched in about a year ago in May of 2025. So we've come a long way since 2025 of our launch. We started in one state, and now we're in just about 30 states across the U.S. working with all different types of healthcare systems and offices.
Woohoo! Woohoo! That's
Thank
awesome.
you.
I mean,
Thank
that
you.
is awesome. What a journey. I love this. An entrepreneur. I'm listening with my entrepreneur ears. So, I mean, you're 5 years in, right? 5, 6 years in.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
one state to 30 states. That's awesome. I mean, I just have to cut in because when you think about that, talk about a niche, right? To be a successful entrepreneur, you need a niche. Well, you've got a niche that's within a niche with a niche. I mean, you've captured a moment. I mean, one of the most dramatic moments it is and means to be human, period.
Yeah.
That moment a parent sees their unborn child. I mean, that's an extremely powerful moment. So like, how can you go wrong? How can you go wrong?
Yeah,
So congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I knew that parents would love it, but I think the hard thing was to figure out when we were figuring out how to go to market with it. It was making the decision of how could we get providers to adopt it. And a big thing from the start was we have to be free. Our technology has to be free for offices to use because right now, healthcare, there's cuts left and right. Budgets are being cut. There's physician burnout, staff burnout, sonographer burnout. So there are two things. We don't want to add to their budget burden, and we don't want to add to their workflow. So we created a way that it really doesn't, there's no cost for the office to use Sona. And it works as the ultrasound tech scans. They can press a button and decide what to send, just the same way that they're pressing a button today to print the images. So it fits right into workflow, and it took a while to get there, but yeah, it's I think that's helped with,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah,
growth.
Ellen, I know that you're not that short, but can you raise your head a little bit and you can match? I know you, I met you. So Susan is tall, but she can be. You can go a little bit up
You're
for
I
Susan.
can raise
you're
my
too
feet
high,
too.
Romana. Romana, you're too high.
There we go.
Yeah, that's good. That's good.
Mhm.
Okay. Now,
It's posture.
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 It is
Yeah,
posture.
posture.
Got to work
Let
on it.
me, yeah, both your woman, you went through as a man, I don't know a whole lot about that journey itself. It is a precious journey. Giving a life itself is a extraordinary moments in life. And I was doing a mobile ultrasound in rural Georgia. At that time, I was sending my technicians there and sending you were people like you were a couple of them I had. They were doing the marketing for me at the time. The biggest thing I found out is, Alan, that some people didn't have access to ultrasound seventh month. They come to know eighth month they have a twins. They're having a twins. It is still, access is a big problem still in this country, as advanced as it is, right? What do you think of that? I just shed some light on that. I'm not in the. I left ultrasound field for a long time
Mhm.
ago, but what do you think of it?
Yeah, I think when it comes to diagnostic ultrasounds, absolutely. There's rural areas where parents might have to drive hours to get their ultrasound. Um, but what is more positive, and I've seen more of a trend, we've seen more of a trend around this, are individual sonographers opening up their own studios and that are offering either mobile diagnostic or putting diagnostic and elective, the fun ultrasounds in different regions, in different areas, to offer more convenience for these expectant patients. And they're working with teleradiology groups that don't have to be on site to read, that can interpret the exams from anywhere in the country. So I think this rising trend of sonographers kind of going out on their own and starting businesses and buying equipment and scanning, I think it's great, and it's allowing better access to these ultrasounds, which happen at such a timely manner during pregnancy.
I'm going into that's interesting that you say that, because I've been hearing of that. That there, and of course, I go right to the regulations and who's regulating that and who's ordering this. And are there rules? A lot of rules and regs. You said or are they just putting up a shingle and buying an ultrasound machine, used off the internet and going to town?
There,
How is it regulated?
Yeah, when it comes to diagnostic, it's way more regulated. There's insurance involved. In order to do a diagnostic exam, there has to be a physician order. The sonographer has to be accredited, so they have to be a registered sonographer. So there are a lot more. There's stricter rules on the diagnostic side. The elective side, there's not really much regulation, actually, and there's some staff that may not be a sonographer that are just trained to take pretty pictures of the baby. So there's kind of two sides to it there. But I know that many of them, especially the ones we work with, are sonographers and very trained, and just have that ambition to want to have their own business, which is cool.
Yeah, I love that.
Mhm.
There was
So,
yeah, go ahead.
no, go ahead,
Your
Ramona.
mother,
You look
both
like
of
you
your
were in
mothers
deep
did the
thought.
same. No. But I know least amount of information about it. But when I was doing that, Alan, there was a lot of debate about whether you can open in the malls 3D images, 3D and 4D. You can put that and give it to the patients. That was, the government filed some kind of a restriction on it. And is there any still change to that one, or is it still same? There is a big challenges there.
I think that there was something that came out from the AIUM. There's nothing that's government, restricting, but there was something that came out from the AIUM, the American Institute for Ultrasound Medicine, that said that it's not recommended to get ultrasounds beyond diagnostic, but with studies done on ultrasound, it's a very safe imaging, modality. So if you're high risk pregnancy, you may be getting ultrasounds once a week. So you're exposing, so so I think it's something that parents they're only pregnant for such a short period of time, and if they're they maybe have 2 diagnostic scans in their pregnancy, and they want to get some extra fun images to remember their baby, their pregnancy by. I think it's great. I know some people that struggle with miscarriages, and they got a first trimester ultrasound just to ensure them that there was a heartbeat for peace of mind. So I've kind of heard, great stories around the use of elective offices. But many of these offices also have the diagnostic component, which is great. So if they're registered sonographers and they're scanning a baby and they happen to catch something, they have the skill set to know, hey, you have to actually be seen by a provider because there's something here, so they can refer them to a specialist.
So Ellen, does Sona right now only work with mom baby? Do you have other organs that might be coming into the purview either now and or soon? Or are you sticking with babies and uteruses?
We get that question a lot, actually. We have the technology that is built, and it could work with all different imaging modalities, whether it be abdomen or anything else. But right now, our focus is babies. There's a lot we can do on the patient side of things, on the provider side of things, and it's kind of our focus right now to make sure we're doing the best we can there. But it's always a thought. We're getting more and more requests from even just patients saying, I wish I had access to my abdominal ultrasound.
That's what I'm saying. I'm thinking because
Yeah.
people are getting more curious as the digital world explodes, and we're getting more and more access to our records. And sometimes, well, nowadays we're getting our labs before providers get our labs. We can see the notes in acute care. We can see a lot of things. So I would think that curiosity would be growing, and with an application like yours, that they want to see that heart. They want to see what the devices are showing. So I thought that might be interesting. Hearts, of course, are my neck of the woods. So I love. I'm a little biased.
Yep.
Let me
It is. Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead, Elena.
No, I was going to say it is a fragmented market. I've heard stories of people that have moved across country, and in order to get their, mammogram, they have to have a CD shipped via snail mail to then deliver it to their next specialist. They're like, if there's a way we can just have access and then, deliver that to our specialist, it'd be much easier. So, I mean, our focus is definitely pregnancy right now, but there's so many different, stories that we hear and feedback we're getting. And I think that will help if we do go in that direction, build that out.
I want to tell you something interesting. In India, you're talking about access. India, I didn't know this until recently. India banned, you cannot share the ultrasound images to anybody, even to the patient. Very strange. The reason was they think that they're killing the woman, baby. It was a very old law that is still there because of the feminicide. What do you call feminist? They discriminate girls in the industry, and so they put a very strict, stringent laws. So, but a lot of doctors are complaining. The time has changed. Now everything is different. You need to release. So because of the regulations, you cannot even get other ultrasounds. Ultrasound machine getting in India is extremely difficult. It is a very strange. These rules are, we are blessed to have some, that kind of rules are not here. But I see in myself. Have you ever seen that kind of a situation, Alan? When I was doing ultrasound in those areas that offering ultrasound, some people got upset when they say when it's a boy or when there's a girl. Oh my God, they go through flip out. Do you have that experience anytime?
What? I have not. In the U.S., it's very different. There's such a focus right now around personalized care and patient engagement, and there's studies around the patient engagement leads to better outcomes. And I think that, happier patients that have more access to their, their health and their care and wellness during the pregnancy, they're probably going to bond with their baby more when the baby's born, and they're going to have more of a connection. So I think it's a bit different in the US, and that's kind of, our main market right now. I hope that those regulations change in India, because I think that it could result in better bonding and connection during pregnancy, just to have access to even one image of the baby.
Are there studies done on that one? Like when they see the ultrasound images, the first sonogram, and then see the life itself. Is there any studies done? What kind of a connection that creates? Maybe at the dopamine level, it should be. That's a very great study to have.
I think so too.
It is a great study. So from what I've researched, there have been studies, but with like inconclusive results, fortunately. So I think, but there's a lot more talk around the personalized care and engagement during pregnancy. So I'm sure we're going to see more studies. I'll be on top of it if there are. And I mean, I could see the results being great if there's more engagement during pregnancy for outcomes, patient outcomes.
I love it. So I know you've been hitting conferences across the country. What type of conferences are you going to? Who is the audience? Who in our audience today can we direct to you? What is the quickest way for you to meet our audience, for them to understand more about what Sona does?
Sure. Yeah, it's a mix of OBGYN conferences, ultrasound conferences where there may be sonographers, OBGYNs, maternal fetal medicine physicians, so they are relating to the high risk pregnancies, and then the office administrators. So we're talking to a lot of practice managers and administrators who, there's a couple reasons why they want Sona. So the main one is patient satisfaction. They want to increase their patient satisfaction, the referrals to their office. The other thing is the cost of thermal paper has gotten so expensive. So that's the printouts. I actually have some here to show as an example. So
I used to
printouts from the machine.
Yeah.
So they've gotten so expensive, and patients want more and more, and the cost has gone up. So we help reduce the cost. So, we work in some offices that will say, print 3 images or 2 images for the patient and send the rest to Sona, and they can have, the images and clips on Sona. We have some offices that have gotten rid of thermal printouts altogether, and patients want digital access anyway. So they're like, let's cut that cost completely. So we've gotten quite an interest from the administrative level and the practice manager level.
This has got to be the coolest value add ever. And I'm not so sure everybody understands what that meaning of value add, because when you start out by saying that the doctor's office doesn't necessarily, that the patient doesn't pay for it. I mean, someone pays for it. It has to, you're an entrepreneur. This is a company. You don't get apps for anything. So there's a cycle. So when you can be a value add, describe, what does it mean to have Sona as a value add for a company?
Sure. So you talk about who pays for it. I think that's a big thing. And we've figured out how to monetize while adding value at the same time. So back to where I said, we do not want to charge offices for the technology. We also do not want to charge patients for access. So that is so important. We don't want to block, you can only get 3 images and the rest you pay for. Patients should get full access to their ultrasounds. So what we do is we work with baby brands and pregnancy brands and different companies that want to get exposure to the parent. And these brands, we work with 11 of the top baby pregnancy brands, and they give discounts to our users, which is great. So the users have the ability, or families have the ability to upgrade in the app. Right now, the app upgrade is $10 a year, $9.99, and they can get $300 plus worth of discounts from some of the top baby brands. We don't do advertisements in the app. There's a place in the app where they can see kind of what discounts are available, and that's how it works. So it's kind of a win-win, and we give these brands exposure, at a really timely manner before major purchasing decisions are made as well. So,
and there's so many purchasing decisions. It's really a brilliant business model. Congratulations, Ellen.
Great idea.
Yes. We love
I
this
never, I
story.
would not have thought about it even when I was providing ultrasounds. I would not have thought about this idea, because I'm not a woman, so not a occurred to
It's
me. There's
we in the beginning
definitely.
it was, why aren't you charging the offices? We think you should charge the offices. It's the only way. And I'm like, I'm gonna figure out another way because I don't think we'll get adoption at scale if we charge the offices. And I don't want to put a burden on the offices too, and make them think about jumping through budgetary hoops. So this business model took a while to come up with, but we're really happy with how it's going and what we've settled on.
Well, it's true. It's a true test that the word entrepreneur itself means, take a licking and keep on ticking. I mean, when you know what you have works, what you have is good, the naysayers are going to come, and if you just keep going, the right business model should show itself, and it has. So I love it.
Yalan, I presented a topic a long time ago about Doppler a few months ago about the first baby picture. It was ultrasound picture. I showed from England, Bristol, England. They did that at Glasgow hospital. Did they change the quality of the printing? You showed me just printed thermal print. It used to be very hard to describe anything. Is there any quality why changed that output? Is it much better now? You can see the clear everything.
It's so what has gotten better. So the thermal prints are the same standard that has been around for 40 years. So the
Oh
thermal
gosh.
prints have not improved whatsoever. So here is it's hard to tell. Here's a thermal print, same exact paper. It's shiny. It's hard to take a picture of. Um, it's the same. The thermal print paper is the same. What has changed significantly is the imaging quality from the ultrasounds. So you can get much clearer images of the baby. And so they come out better in the thermal prints, but they come out so much better digitally, because most of the time when you get a 3D image, for example, it's in color. But if you get it thermal printed, it's black and white. So you can kind of see more. You can kind of see more detail and features on Sona. You can zoom in. You can, you know, you can kind of analyze it a bit more than just on shiny black and white paper. And the thermal prints fade. They yellow in light. It's really hard to preserve them. They don't last very long.
I'm thinking when I got pregnant the first time, I don't think I even had a cell phone. we, didn't, we, didn't, we didn't even have, maybe even all three of my children, I don't think I even had a cell phone. So I definitely have some faded, old, thick, shiny paper somewhere.
Keep them in
We've
a dark
come a long
place.
way.
Yep. Keep them in a dark place for sure.
You think that how the manufacturers are open to this idea, incorporating your idea to the and then put Sona to their automatically offer that. One of the biggest problem, Ellen, is that I always think about this. The the hardware manufacturers, ultrasound manufacturers, they really never thought about finding a solutions for the problems. They just provide ultrasound images. That's all. I think you provide an ecosystem complete answer for this all the problems involved surrounding the ultrasound distribution of images for with the family members or anything. I think the manufacturer should open to people like you and what do you think of that idea of manufacturer itself getting involved?
Yeah, we have a great relationship with a bunch of the manufacturers. A couple of them, which is great, they do have a digital solution on their machine. It is a bit clunkier. There's extra work for the staff. So what happens is if there's pushback on the extra work that their digital solution requires, we are a great solution to fit that. We're not competing with the manufacturers. Instead of the manufacturers getting any support calls, they can say, you know what, if this is extra work, you can use Sona, and it's free. And so we do have a great relationship with the manufacturers. We're getting quite a few referrals from them. But it's awesome to see too that they are starting to think about this as well.
Ellen, instead of spending money on all kinds of nonsense we do in healthcare, One of the things is a family it could be spent on families sharing this. Should be paid by the insurance company or by the government. Somebody should come up with a paying for this. This is a very beautiful experience, giving a life, witnessing the birth of life. These kind of things it should be the only thing is a state and federal kind of a responsibility of the entire population. What do you think of that idea?
I think that would be another hurdle to jump through, getting the insurers, the payers to pay for it. So it's where can we remove barriers? And I think the cost side of things for, going to the insurers, it's been a thought, but it has not been explored because, we settled on this and it's working great right now. So
That's what I was gonna say. I'm like, she's in 30 states. It seems to be doing just fine.
yeah. So no, we're happy with everything, and I think it's if insurers take notice and they want better patient engagement, I think that's a value add and a bonus.
So I'm going to, Ellen, and I'm going to present a topic on one of the greatest women of this last century, that went through pregnancy and is a tragic. And I want to show you that. And then after I come back and ask you what are the features of Sona that people like it, and then come back and ask you. Okay. So now can you put that presentation? I'm going to do this presentation about the extraordinary woman in the history. Can you bring that? Yeah. Okay. This is it looks very funny. She is a very well-known woman for remember a lot of history. Remember a lot of history written about her sex life rather than her other contributions. I'm going to talk about that a little bit. What is the other contributions she did? Uh, Her name is she was she was born in 1706. They called her every name in the book. The history called her all kinds of names in the history written. One of the thing is that a great man whose fault is being only born as a woman. That's one of the man written, very famous man and from France, has said that about her. It's a at that time it was a compliment, I think. It's a very offensive nowadays, but it was a compliment during those days. But she was smeared as a mistress, promiscuous, and a loose character, gambler. She was a professional gambler. She was born in 1706. Or think about that, the time in Paris, France. Her name is Gabriella Emily du Châtelet. She was her name is she was born in her name is a Gabriella Emily du Châtelet, was born in 1706. So she was born in the Enlightenment period in the Europe. The Enlightenment period was there was a huge renaissance in the humanity. One of the things is people believing in more reason than superstitions. They used to have a lot of superstitions. That's the first time humanity moved from superstitions, thinking to the reason or thinking of reason. Tolerance over hate, is like different, even Christian groups are different groups. They used to fight. Because the tolerance over hate is one of the fundamental thing that is came out of this Enlightenment period. It's almost 100 years that period was. Science over belief. That is, science really took a center stage in this one. All the men were very famous men were born during that time. One of the Johannes Kepler, who wrote the planetary motions. Rene Descartes was the philosopher. I am therefore I am. He said that very famous one. And then he was a mathematician. Baruch Spinoza is a philosopher, and he is an inspiration for Albert Einstein. Immanuel Kant is a philosopher. And the towering personality among all of them is the Bible of science. He wrote is the Isaac Newton from England. He was the really started the industrial revolution through his inventions and his discovery of scientific principles. His rival is a German guy. Is a Gottfried Leibniz. He was also doing the same time. He was a very they used to call each other bitch. That's a funny thing. So all the men's rivalry. Then Benjamin Franklin was in the same time as Benjamin Franklin in the United States was talking about electricity and lightning. And Adam Smith is an economist in the United States. These are the people who are really took the humanity to the next level. All are men. But one woman wants to sit in the front, in the middle of all of them, in the debate, in the intellectual level. That is a Gabriella Emily de Châtelet. The she was she's a party girl. She's a social butterfly. She loved men. In France, I didn't know that even though if you're married, you can meet other people. There's no restrictions. So she was born she's enjoying her life as a party girl. And then she's a social butterfly. And then she's a prolific gambler. She loved gambling. And then she used to go to big gambling places all the times. So she is from one point of view, she is this kind of a bad girl name she got. But she has the other side, unbelievable other side. Her curiosity for mathematics and science is unbelievable. She loved math and science. So what she did was she was reading. She learned multiple languages. English. She is born in French, right? She speaks French, but she learned English. She learned German, and she was reading all the papers from the Newton and German Leibniz. She's reading all the things about this science. It's just she was alive during those. Both people were born. Both people are alive. She was alive there during that time. Think about that. She was reading their discoveries, their publications. She was reading their books. And very few, by the time, actually, hardly any few men, it is a man's world purely during that time. Only men were discussing about this kind of a scientific principles. So what she did was she didn't care. She wanted to attend. She wanted to attend all the men's meeting. Only men only can enter these meetings. There is a men for men only. The scientific meetings are limited to men. What she did was she just dressed as a man and then cashed into these parties, into the meetings, and they learned. And not only she participated, they probably know her. She's a woman because probably half of them are slept with her or something. She didn't want to talk about it. So she wanted to learn, and she was a participant, and then she was an active member of these meetings, and she does it as a woman man. So if the government catch, she was born in a rich family. She came from an aristocratic family itself. So all of them are discussing about something strange that is called viva force. At that time, is this viva is called a living force. If you throw a rock, it breaks a window. They thought that rock has some living force inside. That was a prevailing belief. So that the infancy, all the equations are the infancy stage. Even the Newton was struggling with these equations. It was, for example, I give you if the bullock cart, the cart horse buggy running around with 10 miles per hour, it's producing 1 unit of energy. If it goes to 20 miles per hour, they believed that, these all men believed that this twice, that is, if it is 30 times 30 kilometers, 30 miles per hour, it's producing 3 times energy, kinetic energy than before. That was the prevailing belief among all men, the intellectual men of that times. She didn't believe that at all. She thought something wrong. That she didn't buy all the men's debate. Visviva. So what she did was, she is already rich, right? I told you. So I said that hell with all these guys. I am going to do myself. And she built a Chateau Elan outside of France. She built a huge Chateau Elan. Chateau means big building. She did. She got a library, and she imported the books from all over the world. Her library is almost comparable to the Academy of Sciences library in Paris. She has collected a huge number of books. Her library was good. And then she imported equipment. At that time 1700 equipment is primitive, but our point of view, she imported equipment from London, and she in the basement, she put it in the laboratory to test these all men's fighting. She wanted to prove something different. What she did was build the proof. She did build the really proof. What she said, that what they are wrong about is this is the power of a square. Is a nature response in squares, not in the proportion. So if you throw if you're playing a bowling ball, if you throw 10 miles per hour, you throw a bowling ball, it knocks down one pin. If you do 20 miles per hour, it knocks down two. But what she said is that's absolutely wrong. If you do 30 miles per hour, it knocks down three. She said that's nonsense. What she proved is that is the way it works in the nature is if you throw 10 miles per hour, it only one, but 20 miles per hour, it is a two squared, four times the energy comes out. That four pins go out. 30 miles per hour is a nine pins go out. Every time you increase the pressure, the energy goes up in squares. That's what she said. Not the double the speed, four times the speed. So she invented half mv square. Remember that formula? That is really paid away to the entire our science itself. Double the speed of mv square came from air. Even she challenged Isaac Newton, one of the gods of the science. She challenged her during the time. So she so I can give you more examples of this, how the square works. If you go 10 miles an hour, if you hit that, energy is double the speed, double the energy. That's what the people think. That's wrong. That is not the right way. If you speed twice, it is squared. Four times the energy comes out. That's why actually in the highways, a lot of deaths you see, a lot of fatalities, or because of that speed is a squared law. Nature responds energy in squares.
Hmm.
So you see the Emily de Chatelet's influence in the even today's highways. That she started that idea of square. These two extraordinary women, what you're doing now, these are in my podcast right now, Ellen and Susan, both are these kind of a things, the trailblazers. So beyond that time, she was a revolutionized the entire idea equal to mv square. The square is she challenged the Newton. She gave the path to ideas to Albert Einstein. That square idea came from her, a brilliant mind that connects the ideas and the inspired generations is the Gabriela Emily du Châtelet. She did that. She was in the center of but history was not nice to her. She was, during that time, she was recognized by the world. Germany published their first woman paper in German publication in the scientific paper. They published their paper in the first time from a woman. In Italy Academy of Sciences in Bologna, it is one of the premier institutions in the educational institution in Italy. It was she was elected as a member during the time. Think about, she's hardly 25, 30 years old. She was she was 1732. She was recognized. The world recognized across the nation and the world at the time. Her intelligence is a she's a genius is an understatement. So that MB square law. Alan can see that it is everywhere in ultrasound. Actually, ultrasound, you can see that square law is present in everywhere. For example, one example I gave is if you have a baby kicks one, that is energy of one. One kick is a one, energy is a one unit. If she has two kicks, mother can feel four times. The kick speed is twice. Mother can feel the energy of the four times of energy. So it is exponential square. It goes square, not exponential square law. It follows. Kinetic energy is mv square. That's half mv square. Emily de Chatelet, ultrasound, for example, umbilical cord, the blood flow is a very important. The way it works, the energy, the motion of the motion, and the motion of the blood, and the energy itself is the relationship between these square law. So yeah, even the Susan for a heart problem in the stents, when they put it, the blood comes out. Is a square law it follows. That is Emily de Chatelet's genius insight. So this is a genius silenced. What she did was, she was, I didn't tell you, but I've lost the one slide here, but I can tell you, she was a great mother. She wrote a books, children's books, to explain physics and mathematics. And she didn't like the books at that time. She wrote the books herself. She is the kind of a trailblazer. I don't like it, I'm going to do myself, right? To produce her own books. She wrote a children's book. Then she took up one of the major, she took up a major project, that is translating the Newton's Principia of the Principia. It's a Bible of science. She was translating that Principia of math to French. Even today, that is established, one of the books that people read, by Emily de Chatelet. She was writing all the book. Unfortunately, she got pregnant. With a soldier. She was she loved a man. She was a young soldier, made her pregnant at the age of 40. That is a death sentence during that time. Pregnancy was a death sentence. So what was she knows that she's going to die. She knows at the time. So she gave up. She During the pregnancy, she was putting the light and finished the last chapter. While she is writing the last chapter, she just died. Finished the last chapter, and while she gave birth to baby, and she died on the table itself. They actually, the servant reported her death on the desk itself, while she's writing the final chapter of Principia of Math of Newton. What a woman! She was the history wiped her out from because of her sex life, but she must be remembered. So you cannot stop a genius to forget. So Judith Genser is a professor from Miami, actually Miami. She wrote a book on her. It is that was made a Broadway show. It's called A Daring Genius. She's from Atlanta. Lauren Gunderson is from Atlanta. She wrote a award-winning show, Broadway show. It is played in all over the country. It got a lot of awards. So it is really she portrayed this genius woman, and how the history paid focus on her sex life than her contribution to science. She was a genius and contributed to science and math. Unbelievable amount of her contributions are memorable, and it's a significant. Even today, when you see a life in ultrasound, what Ellen does, you see that today. Thank you for watching. I was actually one of the times when during the pandemic, I created this uh, t-shirts. This reminding her life and what a contribution she did with this life. Died, unfortunately, she died very at the young age of 42. And thank you for listening. And let me bring my friends. What? Oh, let me get rid of this. Yeah. What do you think, Alan? It's a
So
great story.
impressive. It's a great story, and I feel bad I've never heard of her. I want to see the Broadway show. I hope they make it into a movie so I can
Yeah,
learn more. But
yeah.
I'm
What is
probably
that?
interested enough to read the book. She sounds amazing.
Yeah, it's a book. You should read that book. It's a really good, particularly it's inspiration to all pregnant women. What do you think, Susan?
Oh, the image of her dressing up as a man back in the 1700s and walking to the rooms with those very, very brilliant minds of the time, and then thinking, "Zoop, come on up here to 2026," and the things that women are trying to get through doors of science and doors of all the doors. Can you imagine the momentum she got with her squared energy of herself back in the 1700s, and here we are all of these years later. Probably she made more leaps and bounds in her day than we're scratching for today. So really cool story. Once again, Romana always finds, Ellen, these crazy stories of scientists who've contributed massively to humanity that no one's ever heard of. So bravo, Romana. Thank you for that. That was awesome.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, thank you. But Ellen, yeah. So now you're a woman. You're a trailblazer in the sense that you're providing a big SK, one of the kids for the world now, or the mothers. What are the Sona features that people like? Like it, one feature. Tell me one prominent feature. People love it. So it's easier for them. Oh my God, I would not have. This has made it so easy for me. That it.
I mean, the main feature is just the core of our product, just being able to at any moment in time pull out your baby and see them. But a big one is being able to invite. You can download to your phone, you can share via text, email, social, but being able to invite your family and friends along with the journey, or along for the journey. So sometimes you get 20 great images, maybe 15 great images, and it's really hard to text a group chat and pick your favorite, and you may have a bunch of ultrasounds. So just inviting your loved ones to be a part of every single ultrasound. I've heard stories of grandparents at being out with their friends or future grandparents of the expected baby, and just pulling out their phone and kind of bragging and showing off and saying, look who I have coming. So stories like that are really cool. Just the ability to see your baby when you want and share.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, go ahead, Susan.
Well, to both Ellen and Romana, this really strikes close to home to me right now. I am about to be a grandma for the first time. And so what you're describing, thank you very much. We're due in September, but I just lived this story that you live in. And so, they got in their trucks, Romana. We live, we ranch and we farm in Florida. So he thinks, we're all crazy, but anyway, they got in their trucks and they came to my office and they had to bring their black and white image. And that was the surprise, but I've just held these. I don't even, if we got a single copy, way back when, when I had my babies, it was something, but it was an extraordinary moment for my family, but it was fleeting because of course the mom wants her 2 or 3 little shots that she has. And so the fact that you could share this with the family, I mean, we're all in this. And so I would love, I know my daughter-in-law would think Sona was the coolest thing ever because she wants more. Now I was in the old school where I didn't want to know, boy, girl, it was like Christmas every day waiting, but that's not this generation. They want to know. Well, I won't speak for everybody, but many of them want to know. And so I really appreciate your science and that moment because I'm living it. So I'm holding bated breath for the next one.
My gosh, that's so exciting. Did they find out the gender?
Yes, we are having a girl.
So exciting. Congratulations. It's going to be here soon. What's interesting is we're finding more people are leaving the gender as a surprise.
Really?
So it's funny. My husband, I have 2 kids and they were both surprises for us. We didn't care either way. And my husband was so nervous to see the 3D pictures. We got spoiled. I got spoiled with 3D pictures, and it's like it's going to give away the gender, but it really doesn't. I don't think the pictures of the baby's face, it could go either way. Even when the newborn comes, you can't really tell, unless you see the whole body. So
it's so crazy though, because this is like Christmas, literally. This is like Christmas. It's Christmas every single day. I had 3 and didn't find out, so I get it. I'm glad to hear that it's coming back. I'm glad to hear it's coming back because it's just those days you don't, anyway, I'm on school find out I didn't care either, but, and then you guess and you feel and you know, and then this one was this and this one was that. But anyway, what a cool thing to be seeing the ultrasounds and to be able to share the way we need to share. We need to share our whole family, rather than just the ultrasound, but being able to share medical through our phone, through our family members. It's a way to advocate for one another as well. So it's a joy.
Ellen, we have a common friend, Dr. Uli Chettipalli. He's a good friend of ours. And you, what did you learn from the founder school? Is it helpful for you, that school? How does it before you have 1 minute, but if you can,
It was
did it help
amazing.
you? The school?
Yeah, he was one of the directors of the Founders Institute, and I was part of the Founders Institute cohort fall of, I think it was 2023. It was a long time ago, so it was well before our launch. We had a functioning technology. We had not yet kind of redone it, and we were inside hospitals, a small set of hospitals and OB offices in Massachusetts, running a really big pilot. And I am a first-time founder. I've been in the ultrasound industry for a long time, but the Founders Institute was really instrumental in figuring out how to navigate the early days of the business and what to do and how to scale. And it's not just the expertise from the director. So Yuli was amazing, but they bring in so many mentors who've been there, done that, who are in the healthcare space, who can offer tips on how to break through, healthcare ecosystems and kind of how to pitch yourself and pitch your company. So it was such a good program. I highly recommend it, for founders who are starting out.
Ellen, I know you. I'm glad I met you. Just hang around after the podcast. I won't talk with you a couple of minutes, me and Susan. But thank you so much for joining with us, Ellen. You're a good friend. I met you in person, and it's really you were in jubilant at the time because you graduated from the school and your celebration. That is a great celebration. But stay hanging around. Thank you for all watching. Thank you, Susan. Thank you for joining. And stay. And then we'll talk a couple of minutes after this. Thank you. Good night.
We are retelling their stories through our patented designs that can be worn on scrubs, t-shirts, printed on conference bags, and endless other promotional materials. Daily Wear for Medicine is the first ever of its kind to create curiosity in medicine through visual art. We at MedBricks are celebrating unsung heroes of the past who made enormous contributions to the field of medicine through our unique campaign called Daily Wear for Medicine. You can wear it, carry it, and give it.